Good morning and welcome to Field Testing with Joe. Today we are going to be doing a sand equivalent, or short for SE. What that determines is the clay content percentage of concrete sand. We start off with about 1,100 grams of sand. We dry it back and we split it into 85 milliliter containers, 4 of them. I will show you the quick process on how we split that down. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm going to show you some of the equipment that we use for our sand equivalent, or SE for short. So what we have here is 4 cylinders which measure 15 inches in height. I don't know if you guys can see it there, but that is 15 inches, which breaks down to 150 mil. And then we have our working solution, which is made up of 1 gallon of water and a calcium chloride stock solution. And once we mix the 85 milliliters of stock solution to 1 gallon of water, it basically has a little siphon. I don't know if you guys can, but there's the siphon. We got about a half gallon of working solution left, and it runs through this rubber hose into a wand with a couple of holes in it at the bottom, and that we use that to irrigate the solution through our sand. So hang on a second, I'll get set up for splitting of the material. Okay, so I have the splitter set up. I will show you the splitter. Okay, this is the splitter for the sand. It has, I'm going to call that about a 1/4 inch openings for the sand. We have 4 pans which go underneath here. And we have our dried sample of sand, about 1,100 grams. And we go ahead and pour this into our scoop, as you can see. And I will split it down in half through the splitter. Then I'll take 1/2 of my sample, pour it back into this bowl. And now we will split the second part of the sample into 4 containers to break it down to this size. And what we're looking for is about, I don't know if you guys can see the line there. That's about where we want to get the sample filled up to evenly. So we're going to go ahead and break that down. Breaking it down into quarters. Okay, now that we have broken our sample down into 4/4 of the half, now what I am going to do is I have my 4 tins, and I'm going to transfer each pan into the tins. And we're filled up to that line. That's 1. 2. 'm going to split this one down a little bit more. A little bit on the light side. Or the heavy side. And that's a little bit on the light side. Okay, while I'm finishing splitting this down, we'll pause it. Okay, now that we have our samples split out into 4 equal portions from the original 1,000 grams plus or minus, we have 4 tins, roughly 85 milliliters in these 85 milliliter tins. As you can see, they are about equal. Okay, now we're going to come over to our cylinders, and we're going to fill up each cylinder to the 4-inch mark. Now it's going to be kind of hard to see, but our 4-inch mark is right there. So we're just going to fill up 3 of them. The 4th one is just in case my final results are not within 0.4 of each other, of the average. I'm going to fill each of these up to the 4-inch mark. Okay, they're all at the 4-inch mark. Clamp back on so we don't lose any of our working solution. Okay, so these are stopwatches, and I am gonna pour each of the 4 samples into the cylinders, and they will hydrate for 10 minutes undisturbed. I'm gonna do it in every 3 minutes, and after that 10-minute soak period, we will shake it. I will show you on the automatic shaker, which is right next to it, that green device. So let's start off with number 1. Okay, we're gonna pour our sample in from one container. Tap the bottom to release any entrapped air, and then hit the stopwatch. So now it's a waiting game. So in 10 minutes, I will come back and we will continue this test. Thanks. See you in a little bit. Okay, after the 10-minute soak time, I did do a little hyperlapse just to save on recording time. So right now we are at the first one. So in another 2 minutes, I will show you what we do with that. Okay, so we're at 10 minutes. So I am gonna put a rubber stopper on this. And we're gonna loosen it up after the 10 minutes. And we are going to put it in this for 45 seconds. Make sure the switch is on 45 seconds and hit start. That'll shake for 45 seconds. And I will do this with all 3 of the samples after each 10-minute soak time. "45 seconds seems like forever when you're waiting on it." We also have a manual shaker, which I only have to use if this breaks down. And that one you do 100 strokes in 45 seconds. Okay. Once that is removed, we shake it around to get any of the sand that might be stuck to the side. Okay, so now we are going to irrigate this with the working solution. Take the clamp off, and we're going to lower it down, washing off the sides, and then twisting and turning to bring all the fines into suspension. Twisting, moving it up and down till we hit the 15-inch mark. And we are at the 15-inch mark. And now we're going to let this sit undisturbed for 20 minutes and let everything settle. We're going to switch it to hyperlapse. That way you don't have to sit here for 20 minutes and watch the sand settle. Okay, we're almost at the 20-minute mark. So what this is a weighted foot. From the base of the weighted foot to this white indicator is exactly 10 inches. And that'll give us our sand reading in any case. What we first have to read is the clay reading. So we are at 20 minutes. And we'll get a piece of scratch paper so I can write down our numbers. And we're going to zoom in a little bit and adjust the camera to the one that I'm looking at. Okay, so we are at exactly 4 inches. So we're going to write that number 4.0 for 4 inches. And then we're going to lower this foot through the top, taking care not to jar or put it down too fast or drag it along the sides. And we're going to lower it down till it sets on the bottom. Then I'm just going to pull it slightly to me so I can read it. And it looks like we're at 3.4 because we're subtracting 10. So 3.4. Then we do a simple calculation of our sand reading and our clay reading. Our first reading was the clay. The second reading is our sand. So we're going to divide 3.4 into 4.0, which gives us a 0.85. So our first sample was at 85%. And now we have 2 more to go, and it'll be the average of the 3. We got a minute and a half on number 2, and about 4 minutes on number 3. So now we will remove this, get it ready to go into the next one. Just wipe it off to clean up our mess a little bit. So as you can see with them, I'm going to zoom in, give you a better look at it. So you can see the separation. We have our clay on top and our sand below it. And it looks like we're looking at about a 4.1 on the second one. So we'll zoom out again. Stop. And lower the foot back in on the second sample. So we got 4.1 on our clay reading. And now we're looking for our sand reading. So we got 4.1 and looks like 3.6. So 4.1 and 3.6. 3.6 divided by 4.1 gives us 87.878. So because it's over 87, we're going to bump it up to 88. So we're rounding it up basically. The first one was exactly 85. So the second one will be bumped up. And again, we'll remove the foot. Wipe it down. And clean it off. And we got a minute and a half on the final one. So once these are completed, we're going to take the average of the 3 results from our sand reading divided by our clay reading, which gives us our percentage. So we got 85% on the sand equivalent for the first sample, 88% on the second sample. Third sample looks like it's going to be probably about the same as the first one. And then we're going to average those 3 together. Now, if my range was outside the average, we'll figure it out. But if it's more than 0.4, that's why we have this 4th sample, just in case we get a flyer. And that way we can run that 4th sample and verify that it is okay. Otherwise, we still have another half sample that we can resplit out and rerun the test if needed. So we're just about at 20 minutes on our final sample. And we're going to zoom in on that. So we were looking at 4.0 on the sand reading. On the clay reading. Then we're going to lower the foot end. And it looks like we are at 3.4. Let's zoom out a little bit. And pull that close to the edge. So 3.4. So 3.4 into 4.0 gives us 85. Now we're going to take our average. We're going to add up 85, 88, and the other 85. That gives us 258 divided by 3, because there's 3 of them, because we're taking an average. And our average is 86. Our specifications on this, it needs to be greater than 71. 86 is greater than 71, so the sand has passed, which also tells us that the material is clean. It's washed concrete sand. We do sometimes have samples where it's below 71, which then we would call the QC at the concrete batch plant and the contractor and let them know that their sand was out of spec and we need to get a new sample. So they'll do what they need to do, either rewashing the sample or the stockpile, or calling their supplier and getting a new sample. So I want to say thank you for spending the morning with me. Today we did a sand equivalent, or SE for short, and that tells us how clean or dirty the sand is. We use this sand in concrete. Thank you. You guys subscribe, and I'll have a new video out shortly. Thank you guys, and have a great day.